All right. Welcome to Business Learning Lab with Jen and Meredith. This is where Meredith and I share our hard earned business lessons. So hopefully you don't make the same mistakes we did, and maybe you can find some nuggets of wisdom in these sessions. It has been a hot minute. Last time we saw you, we were co-CEOs and of Spirit. We still are. But now we are also co-CEOs of Move Forward Virtual Assistants. Yes, you haven't seen us because we acquired another company. And guess what? It takes a lot of time from your busy day to sort of transition into a new company. So it's good to be back. Meredith, what do you, I don't want to leave you out of this introduction period. So jump in.
Sure. Well, yeah. So as you said, it's been a minute. So we did not fully anticipate what would happen to our lives when we bought this company. We probably should have. I don't know why we thought like, oh, let's have a second company and like everything will stay the same. So it totally took over our lives. We left Sparent to run on autopilot, more or less, with minimal check-ins, and it did great. Which congrats to us, Jen, for real. Like we set up a really stable, scalable, functional company that was able to keep going through us being 100% consumed with Move Forward Virtual Assistants. So, but now we're coming out the other side. So things are balancing out with Move Forward, and we're able to kind of get back to some.
Yeah, it feels so good. So we closed on that company on June 10th. We purchased this company because it is a virtual assistant agency that happens to specialize in the mental health industry. So our virtual assistants over there are experts in handling the administrative demands of mental health practices. So it's a bit of a different animal. We've got to deal with HIPAA compliance, all sorts of nuances within that industry. It's been so exciting to learn about it, to just get in there and get our hands dirty and learn as much as possible, as fast as possible about the needs of that industry. But so rewarding because, we're mission-based entrepreneurs at heart, and it was so easy to get behind the mission of this agency, which is to help mental health practitioners deliver more mental health services to people who really need it. And in order for them to, have a larger impact on that community, they really need the support, administrative support. So there's definitely sort of, a ripple effect of our services that we can so appreciate. And I think, or I know our virtual assistant team, feels that as well. So super rewarding.
It's also been a crash course in having W-2 employees. For us, that's been a huge learning curve. With Sparent, everyone are 1099 independent contractors, and so we came in so learning so much about benefits and labor laws and employee management, all that kind of stuff. It's been fascinating and really exciting, and so interesting seeing the difference between having staff, having contractors. So I'm sure we're going to have learning labs about all those nuances as we go into the future, because we were learning so much. Also, just so many lessons about buying a company. Having done it our first time, we did a lot of stuff right and a lot of stuff not as right as it could have been. So future topics for sure for anyone who's interested in those things.
Yeah, so many lessons learned along the way. But so we wanted to, coming back into the Business Learning Lab world, we wanted to start off this one with the topic of how to create, what is the title, Meredith? It is, I forgot. Oh, the non-toxic way not to fail in business. And the reason we chose this topic is because we realized, from June until now, it felt like moving mountains after acquiring Move Forward Virtual Assistants. It was a business that had some operational challenges. They were experiencing some high turnover issues. They weren't as profitable as they could be. and they weren't as efficient as they could be. So coming in, we really had to. Oh, the other problem was, the pay wasn't where I think the employees really wanted it to be. So we had some challenges going into this business, and so, what we really did, Meredith, is we leaned on our core values from Sparent, because those are just our core values. They translate in all of our business endeavors. And so, knowing what our core values were, leaning on them, we knew what kind of company we wanted to create within Move Forward. Yes, it was already an existing company, but by enlisting our core values, we were able to make some really significant changes in a short period of time.
Yeah.
But in making those changes, which included raising rates immediately, and in some cases fairly drastically to some clients, we ran the risk, and we knew it. We were like, we could lose all of our clients once we raise these rates. Like, everybody could walk. There's nothing legally, contractually binding them to this company. And so there was a bit of a leap of faith. And, I know we had this meeting early on where I was like, Meredith, like, we may have just bought air. Like, what if everybody walks? And and I'm just like this, I'm thinking of these drastic scenarios, and Meredith is like, only one of us can freak out at a time. That's cool. So, Meredith's like, no, we're not going to lose all the clients. But even if we do, we know what kind of company we want to build. And if we can't build that company, then we don't want the company. Like, we don't want to, then we need to be willing to walk away, and we need to be willing to fail. And in that case, it's not really a failure, right? That's what you said. It's like, then we're not failing, because the only thing we're doing is holding true to our core values, in which case you're always going to win. Right?
Exactly.
So did I get that right, Meredith?
You did. And there's another kind of layer to it as well, which is, that a lot of us entrepreneurs especially have been fed this very toxic version of like hustle culture, success, striving for success, and that like win at any cost. How many times have we heard the phrase like failure is not an option?
Failure's not an option.
And that what that means, and the way it's traditionally used, is do whatever it takes to win, do whatever it takes to succeed, no matter what. So, and success generally is judged by profit or personal success, our success of our egos and our plan. And what I realized was, as we're talking through this and realizing, like, no, this failure, we're going to build the company we want to build the way we want to build it. And if it doesn't work, if our profit models don't work, if we cannot pay employees a fair wage and give them good benefits and make them feel valued and heard and like human beings who are allowed to have a family and a life outside of work, if we can't accomplish that and make a profit and serve our clients, then we don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to, take our profit and our success out of the backs of our employees and make them suffer so we don't have to fail. And once we kind of had that mindset shift, it was like, oh my gosh, failure is literally not an option, right? Because we're choosing. And so if we're like, this doesn't work, we can't have this company, we're going to pivot. We're going to do something else. We're going to reassess. We're not failing, we're shifting. And we're staying, like you said, that ultimately we win because we stay true to ourselves. We stay ethical. We stay humane. We continue to do business like a woman, which is our rallying cry now. And that it is based on, we all have to benefit. This has to serve everybody, or it serves nobody. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so empowering too, to just know that you can work backwards.
Yes.
Right. You can be like, these are the values. This is the company I want to build. This is what I want to pay people. Mm-hmm. Because I think by paying people this, it's compensation. It's a livable wage. It's, valuing their skill sets. It's something that will make them want to stay here by, giving an environment that supports work-life integration, respect, inclusivity, all of that. By creating that environment, knowing what we want to pay, well, then we can, look at the numbers, look at the math. I always say it's a lot of times business is just a math problem. And then we figure out what our services are worth, the value we're bringing to the table, and work backwards to get there. We know what kind of profit margin we want to see, what we need to see to build a sustainable company. We achieved that. And, I'm really proud of ourselves, because this was really a testing ground for all of our years of experience, or this culmination of knowledge that we got to apply. And we took a company that was literally struggling, to survive. And in 3 months, we actually are turning more of a profit in 1 month than the company experienced in an entire year. And I don't mind bragging about that, because it wasn't easy. It took a lot of work and attention to detail. Yeah, it took some sacrifice to get there, but to accomplish that in 3 months, I think we can be pretty darn proud of that.
And it's been really interesting, as I don't know if you've had this experience, Jen, but as I talk to people, I've talked to all my family's entrepreneurs. I was talking to one of my brothers who runs his own company, and I said, we took this company, which we gave all the employees raises, we gave them more vacation time, we reduced the number of hours that is considered a full-time week, and we are going to show a profit in 3 months of basically starting from scratch. The company was running basically at a deficit when we took over. We fixed it, did all these great things. Every person I've told this story to says, how can you possibly turn a profit when you've done all that for your employees? And I found it so interesting, because we provided them with laptops and phones and Rocketbooks to improve HIPAA compliance, make their lives better, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's like, how can you possibly treat your employees well and make a profit? Which I was like, yeah, that's the myth of capitalism.
It is.
It's one or the other, and that it's a zero-sum game. It's not true.
No. And I love the idea of this new capitalism, where those two things are not mutually exclusive. And the truth is, you need to be profitable to survive, but you do not need to be ridiculously profitable to the point where you're so greedy. If we were greedy, we could, pay our people less and still charge more, and go from a 12 to 13% profit margin to a 24%, 25% profit margin. But that would just be greedy. That would be greed on our part, and we all know the fallout of bad capitalism, right? I mean,
well, and it's important. I feel like we always need to make the point that it's not greed. It's not just like aspirational, or like this, I want to live in a world without greed, and it's just like this. It's a good business, because what we find, and we found this with Sparent, this is how we ran Sparent for 3 years, and it's the same process. When you have low turnover, you increase your profits. You have less, you don't lose the money on the turnover, both, and in the VA industry in particular, and I think in any industry where your employees form relationships with your clients, that when we are most vulnerable of losing a client, when we lose a VA. So high VA turnover leads to high client turnover, which leads to open up a hole, drain all your profits right out of your bank account. So yeah, it's the right thing to do, and it feels great. And we lead with humanity. And so, yeah, we're treating our employees great, and they have a great life. And I love that for them. But also I love that for our business. We've had no turnover. That's why Sparent was able to run so efficiently by itself, more or less, while we were running this company. We didn't have a high turnover. We weren't scrambling to fill openings, and we weren't struggling to hold on to unhappy clients. None of that stuff was happening. We have almost no turnover, and we're applying that here too. So it's not just about being good. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. That's where the profit comes from.
That's an excellent point, Meredith. It just makes sense. The return on investment in that belief system is really solid. You cannot argue with the results. Plus, we get to sleep at night, right? We don't have to worry that we're these awful like capitalist jerks. Like I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's like, again, like one of our core values, everybody wins. Everything works. And that's why it works. That's what's so great about it. There's no push pull. Our employees are happy. They're thriving. They feel connected to us. We're happy that they're happy. We're happy that our clients are happy. They're increasing their hours. We're adding new clients every month. Like it's all so good. And our interactions with the employees are good. They're happy. They're content. There's not even on that day-to-day basis like negativity or frustration or I hate my job or oh, I can't believe I'm here. Like none of that. There's none of that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I know that when we took over, there seemed to be a lot of chaos, like a lot of just sort of a chaotic atmosphere. And I was like, oh geez, this is different than Spirit. It's like I'm not used to this. So all these little fires and my inbox being bombarded. I wasn't used to that, but that's
Mhm.
okay. We dealt with it, and now things are so calm. In fact, I think I got one email last night, but that's great. Like because everything is rocking and rolling. We've got leadership in place. It's just I love it. I love our team. I love the work. I love the clients. So it's been great.
Yeah.
I can't complain. Now, we did have, this is not to say we didn't make sacrifices. We were, I don't know, like working more hours than we typically work in our business. We're
Mhm.
not, I'm a sort of a workaholic by nature, but I've kind of gotten a lot better with the work life integration for myself. So, I'm really very used to working sort of when I want, having a very flexible schedule over at Sparent. So both of us, kind of went from that to like full tilt boogie, right? We were just, there was the things that just had to get done pretty quickly. So now I think we're kind of rolling back to like the type of,
Mhm.
cadence of work that we're used to, which is really, really nice. So we made the sacrifice in terms of like, we had to work really hard in this like 3-month period. And, we haven't taken a salary yet from Move Forward Virtual Assistants because it was really important for us to take care of the employees first and make the company profitable. But we will be able to take a salary. I think next month we start. It's not going to be huge. It's not going to be like, oh my god, they're making 6 G's and see. No, we're not gonna do that because we're
Yeah.
not gonna stress the business because it's still pretty young, right? We're
Right.
still making sure that everything we put in place and the cadence of growth, remains the same. We don't have 3 months. We don't have a solid track record with this business. It's all looking good month to month. It's looking good, but we want to be 6 months, 8 months, 9 months out. We want to go through a couple of quarters to make sure everything's trucking along like we predicted.
Exactly. And, we are prioritizing building up a reserve fund. We're prioritizing, different expenses taking out of profit. And we are doing that before we give ourselves a salary because that's just one of the ways we approach business. And there's other ways you could do it that aren't right or wrong. But for us, we just sleep better at night knowing that we're maybe taking a smaller salary, but we're building up this backup fund. So if something were to go wildly wrong, we would still be able to make payroll.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden, like, I don't even know, like some major market shift happened and we lost half our clients because suddenly no one needed therapy anymore. That would be great. The world would be, turning itself around. But, we would want to be able to float and make payroll for at least a little while to give ourselves time to turn things around. So those are just some decisions, that we're making, and you can make different decisions. But the idea being that, and so towards that end, we consider ourselves investors. We did not get a loan. We did not get outside investors to buy this business and to fund it. And so that's sort of one of the ways that manifests is that part of our investment is we didn't take a salary for the first few months. We will take a smaller salary until we're more established.
Yeah.
We could have taken investor money, or we could have taken a big loan, paid ourselves salaries, and then had a bigger payment we had to make to pay back. It's just, a choice that we made about how we're divvying up the money.
Well, it's all about treating your business as an asset, and that's, probably a topic for another business learning lab.
Mhm.
But when you start treating your business like an asset, it really changes the ball game because we're not bitter about not taking a salary because this is an asset, like you said, that we're investing in and that we're building, and we know that we'll eventually take a salary. Very shortly, we'll take a salary, but we're not bitter about not taking a huge salary because this is a thing that we're building that we own. Like this
Mhm.
is, you know, it's almost like a bonus to be able to pull a salary in addition to having an asset with value attached to it.
Exactly. So we've gone a little longer than our normal learning lab, but I think that's okay. We kind of knew that would happen because we had so much to catch up on and so much context to
I
provide.
know I feel so rusty. We didn't go live with this one because it had been several months since we've been here. And I was like, you know what, let's just record this one and push it out because I feel rusty when it comes to the live. And I felt like I needed to just sort of, ease back into the
Yes,
business learning.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, this was great. So now again, this is just one more sign we're getting back to normal. We have so many things we can talk about. Just endless. So hopefully we're going to get back on a schedule of doing it live, doing it every week, because I need to get some of the stuff out of my brain.
Oh,
Be able to
so
talk.
true. It's so true.
And if anyone else is thinking about buying a business or expanding a business, like I'm so excited to share the things that we had theories about, that we saw work as parent, but one off is not a rule. Like just because it worked as parent didn't mean it was going to work again, and it is working again. And things we could only do at this company because of the employees, whatever. So it's just so exciting. It's just so exciting to see all the stuff that's been in our head and all these beliefs that we had bear out in the form of concrete results. So I just want to talk about all of it.
I think, and we will. There's so many topics from this experience. But let us know if you have any questions, anything that you want us to talk about. I think in terms of acquiring a business, it is a great growth strategy. It was one that we had, very briefly at one point sort of tossed around in casual conversation. But this opportunity kind of landed on our lap, and I'm so glad we did it. And we're even talking about like acquiring another business down the road because for the most part this was a really positive experience. We're so glad we did it. Thank you for joining us for another business learning lab, and we will share another business learned lesson next week. Bye.
Bye.